Hi, hey, and all those other greetings but adventurers. I'm Jake Spins, welcoming you guys back to my gaming and unboxing channel, where tonight we're going to do a nice casual and chill unboxing for you guys, just like the olden days of Tanuki Tale Review, where sometimes I would take a few items from a series, whether they be related or whether they not be related in certain waves, being plush, figures, anything from that series, and just unboxing it, because back then I really didn't care. I just wanted to do videos, and now I just overthink and I overanalyze, and I sit for about an hour just trying to do a minute of the intro and getting past that, where I just constantly keep stopping the video and resetting. But we're not going to do that today, because we're just going to be nice and casual and give some quick overviews on two Mario Jack specific figures, which these guys are two of my favorites. I do have a third character coming that I might just tack on to the end of the video depending on when I get this figure and all of that and how jarring it would be. But I'm very excited because this is kind of a unboxing of my favorite Mario characters in a sort of way. And the first character we're going to go over is one character that is fairly, I guess, technically obscure from the Mario universe. He's not really used that much, and he's fairly mysterious, yet he's one of my favorite characters, and I genuinely couldn't tell you why. That character would be Nabbit, also going by the names of Carotin, Kako, Gazapo, and Mopsy? So I guess in a specific language, what I'm guessing is maybe Spanish. He's part mop, though that probably is just like a combination of thief and rabbit in that language or something like that. Because they do tend to do that stuff with Mario characters, so that's my guess. Who actually knows? If you know, I mean, it's basically just Nabbit in another language. So, Nabbit's actually one of those characters that's near and dear to my childhood, first appearing in the New Super Mario Bros. Series in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. What he ended up doing was he was a character much like Bowser or Bowser Jr. and a minion-type character where he'd jump into Toad houses, he'd sneak in, he'd pop out all the power-ups, and he'd be like, "Ha-ha, Toad, you suck, I'm leaving, goodbye." And then he'd rush off, and Toad would come, and he'd be like, "Help me, Mario! A weird purple rabbit just stole all of my goods that I was going to sell for absolutely no money."
Basically, so you could save the princess. So what I'm saying is, I'm giving you free service. Please just frickin' help me.
And then you say, "Oh, okay, Toad," because back then you were forced to play as Mario, and you'd be like, "Time to go save your goods and the princess," which is also just as important. And then you'd go off, you'd run to a stage, whatever stage Nabbit went into, you'd chase after him, and then you would get the goods back. And then sometimes there would be kidnapped toads that would end up being in stages. It was a pretty cool mechanic and gave you a really nice reason to go back. You could either successfully nab Nabbit, or you could fail it, which just basically meant you got a power-up, or you didn't get a power-up. What's weird about this guy is for the longest time I just assumed that he was a villain and on Bowser's side, because he does also have Bowser Jr.'s little mask, which that mask for Bowser Jr. ends up making him into Shadow Mario, and Nabbit, it's on his face, but it doesn't transform him at all, unless you want to argue that maybe this is his transformation, and he's another character underneath. Kind of like a Shy Guy mystery, I guess. What makes this guy weird is that in New Super Luigi U, you end up not having Mario, but instead Nabbit tags along. Granted, Luigi and the Toads don't know about this, and when you actually finish the game as Nabbit, he just hides in the background while I believe Luigi ends up taking the credit. It's a very strange thing, and what makes it even stranger is they made him the easy mode inside of this game, to where he can't use power-ups. Any power-ups he gets end up turning into a 1-up, and he can't get hurt, but he can die if he gets crushed or falls down a pit. And it's mainly bizarre because you think, okay, well, why is he suddenly going against Bowser and Bowser Jr. and starting to help the Mario Brothers? Does he just really hate Mario, but maybe he has a thing for Luigi, and he's like, "Ah, yes, my man crush, time to help him." I really have no idea. I guess maybe you could say he's kind of a Robin Hood-esque character, or he just is wild and wants to do whatever the heck he wants to do. Other than that, though, Nabbit doesn't really show up that often and is only really playable inside of Mario Kart Tour, but let's be honest at this point, pretty much almost anybody and their mother in the Mario universe is playable. Surprisingly not the Broodals, but eventually Petey Piranha might be playable in X-Tour, which I'm very excited about, but that is off track. Anyway, though, let's go with opening Nabbit here. So this is actually going to be really quick. Yeah, see, I had to do nothing. I'm also going to keep the back of the box, not because I have a problem, but because it doesn't happen at all. I also just found out where the stands go for these because I never can figure out where they put the frickin' stands on these, but it's actually just slid in right there. So there's the little stand for Nabbit. Thank God. And yes, I never ever found these, even with the Jazzwares ones, which, yeah, is why I have a problem putting them on shelves. But anyway, here we go. We get to look at the purple lad himself. Looking really great. So, first things first, we've got his little Nabbit ears. Those themselves are thankfully not a separate piece, just being on there, and very smooth like the rest of him. You have his very beady eyes. Just looking into them makes it look like he's looking into your soul. But he also looks derpy and cute at the same time. So, not too threatening. Like I mentioned before, you do have his mask, and I mentioned this in a Bowser Jr. video, that maybe this is a fake mask, and for some reason, maybe he idolizes Bowser Jr., and he decided to make a mask of his own, but better, but because it's his own, it's actually not magical, or it doesn't have the magical properties that Magic Koopa would have put inside of the mask to be able to make Bowser Jr. transform. / he got it from EGAD. I'm not really sure where he got the mask, and it's just a part of his character at this point. But for some weird reason, like I said, no transformation here. But it also is just completely covered in and doesn't look like it was done by a child like if you look at Bowser Jr.'s. This in and of itself is a separate piece, at least a little bit, where it's pretty glued on though. And then if you look on the back, you do have this little bit of a bow tie on there, and that is fairly sharp. Other than that, he ends up holding the item bag, which is a slightly separate part, and you can actually move his hand to be able to have this be back and forth. This does feel kind of loose, which is kind of cool. Thankfully, it is automatically attached, but I think they ended up doing that so you can get a feeling like there's actually something in there, and that's a really nice touch. The bag itself is very smooth, and you do also have a little bit of a mushroom mark on there too. So pretty nice. The little front of the bag also does have some circles to show that it's a little scrunched up bit. Behind those, you do have his black arms and white gloves, which his gloves don't have that much detail. And then his body is just a nice round purple with a tiny little Hershey Kiss tail. And then on the bottom for his legs, his buffalo legs, you do have some black there, and you do have some Yoshi shoes. To be honest, Nabbit is almost like an amalgamation of a bunch of different characters, as the top of his head does kind of look like a hat from a certain Zelda character, I think named like Rufio or something weird like that. So, I don't know, maybe he's just kind of a weird love letter that they just decided to shove in there, and for some reason, that amalgamation became one of my favorite characters. Let's be honest though, this guy's adorable. We are not done because we have one more character, being Boo! If you've seen a lot of my Mario Party stuff, you might know that Boo is actually one of my favorite characters and one of my favorite Mario Party characters. Unfortunately though, my luck with him in Mario Party isn't great, and unfortunately Yoshi's isn't either. But for Rosalina and for Peach, I've had some pretty good luck, so apparently Mario Party, I just need Princess Power. For Boo, though, Boo has appeared in so many different games, and he does have quite a few varieties. His first game was inside of Super Mario World, where you end up finding him in a ghost house, and he ends up tormenting Mario. A lot of people probably know what Boo is, but essentially he's just a little bit of a ghost. He's spooky, but he's cute, and he's a lot of people's favorite Mario enemy, being where if you look at him, he goes, "No!" And then if you don't look at him, he goes, "I chase you now." He's just freaking adorable, and like I said, he has so many different variants, such as in Super Princess Peach, where he has a bunch of emotional variants, with an angry one that does the opposite, which actually is a really cool idea. And oh man, if I didn't think I would be praising that game today, but that is one thing I will praise it for, is its cool Boo idea right there. You also do have size variants like Big Boo, as well as some other variants like Bombs, where he ends up being thrown and exploding. Other than that, there's not too many. You do have the Pink Boo, which just like the White Boo in Mario Party, do end up actually stealing stars, and this guy was put in Mario Parties because they made Boo a playable character, which is freaking awesome, and I love when they do that. Now, if only he was a more consistent playable character, that would definitely make me happy. There are also some figures that will decide to glow in the dark, like his amiibo, which is freaking cool. Alright guys, let's open him up, and thankfully I now know where they hide these stamps. Or at least just for Nabbit. He does not look like he has a stand, but to be fair, they just made a flat part on his butt. Here we go, looking at Boo. So I would assume that he doesn't have any movable parts, which does make sense. Though, strangely, his arms do actually move slightly. Whoa. Good thing I have good reflexes. His arms do move slightly. However, though, these joints feel really, really gross. And honestly, I don't really see myself moving them that much. If anything, I'll probably keep it like this, like a winning Mario Party pose. You know, we just won a Mario Party and now they're like, the champion is Boo! Because, you know, that's how that's done, I guess. But yeah, you do have that as a separate part being circular. The rest of him isn't too in-depth, which is pretty nice for me. Where you do have the tail being another nice little Hershey Kiss, just with a bit more of a swirl on it. And then the rest of him is pretty much a solid object, except for the back, and the front being a separate part, where you do also have on the bottom a little flat piece so that he stands on his own, which is pretty nice. And on his face, you do have the nice painted eyes, and for figures, what they usually do for the mouth for Boo is they actually carve inside, and they do that red mouth. They give the teeth, which all of these are separate pieces, and those are fairly sharp, though to be fair, you're most likely not going to be putting your finger in Boo's mouth, and unless you're just checking the sharpness, you know, the more likely thing would either be a kid being curious or just being goofy and, you know, having to go to the ER because, oh my god, my finger got stuck in a Boo's mouth! You never know. Other than that, though, you do have his tongue, which is just a very smooth pink object. So yeah, like I said, very casual, very chill type of video, but nonetheless, I am very happy because I have two of my favorite characters right here. Two guys that look like they'd be really good friends. I mean, they technically have the same face when you really think about it, and they're just very cute together. So who knows, maybe we'll get a Mario Party game, or, ooh, we can get a nice little, Mario Kart Double Dash mode. You can put Petey and King Boo together, and then you can put Boo, regular Boo, with, like, Nabbit. That would be freaking awesome. Because, dude, Nabbit needs a partner. Or you can make, like, Nabbitette. Oh, that would be so cute. Give Nabbit a little girlfriend. Oh my gosh, that would be adorable. If somebody wants to make fan art of that, I would not be opposed to that. And if you do, let me know down below so that I can send you the Discord. And then you can put it in the Discord for everybody to see. Or you can send it to me on Twitter. Anyway, though, guys, that's going to be it for this really quick and chill video. Let me know who are your favorite Mario characters in the comment section down below. Mine being Yoshi, Rosalina, Nabbit, and Boo. And let me know what you guys think of these characters as well as these figures. Anyway, though, guys, that's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep Joe safe, and I don't know why I thought Nabbit would make the sound of Nemo, but apparently he's a fish. I don't think Disney's gonna like it, but I don't make the rules. Alright, bye guys.